We'll try that again. Good evening, YouTube. Maybe I should unmute myself next time. Obviously, as you can see, we're going to speak about Josh Kroenke and what he's had to say. Now, I'll tell you what I'm going to do actually first is I'm going to play a video. I'm going to find the video. 1 second. I'm going to play the video. If I can find it. Where the blimmin' hell has it gone? Why does I've see? Look, come unprepared, didn't I? 1 second, bear with me. But anyway, yeah, he spoke in depth with David Ornstein and went through quite a lot of things. It's obviously on Arsenal.com. There's a 3-minute long video. There we go. Is that it? Yes, I think that is it. So we go back to there, back to full screen. And then we find it. There we go. Right. We now play that. And hopefully you guys should be able, if it loads, to hear what he has to say. Is it going to work? No, it's one of them days for my internet today. It don't seem to want to do anything by the looks of it. Come on, man, this is driving me mad. What's it doing? All day today, I've loaded up everything and it's been fine. I come to try and do a stream and it just wants to take a wholesale mick out of me. So obviously it's not happening. I'm going to give it 10 more seconds. We'll swerve that and we'll just go, we'll just go to the written side of it instead. My internet's obviously dead. There we go. All right, cool. Well, we'll get rid of that then. Bye-bye, BBC Sport. We'll go back to that then. Right. We shall start again. Jesus Christ. Right. There we go. Can everyone see that properly? Let me know in the comments. It's amateur night. It is. The internet is taking liberties as well. So, yeah, anyway, listen, when I come off of this screen to go and read all of that out, I'm not going to be able to see your comments, yeah? So, bear with me. I'll go through the whole thing and then I'll say what I think at the end, all right? So we'll go through it. In fact, you know what? I'll read the comments out from actual YouTube. That'd be easier, wouldn't it? Let's turn the volume down so I don't hear myself. My channel, videos. There we go. Right, let's go. Let's get into this. So they obviously wanted to sit down with Josh Kroenke, or David Ornstein did anyway. New season is here and you seem excited. Basically just going through unfortunately, those last 45 minutes in Baku were not our best. And there was a lot of frustration, but there was a collective resolve to not have this feeling anytime soon, we had some great meetings and set out to try and better ourselves this summer. And I think we've come back to a new season as a stronger club, and I don't disagree with that. I think that 45 minutes was a disgrace. The first 45 minutes, you can say, yeah, cool, it was pretty decent. Should have been winning the game, but the second 45 minutes, they were taking wholesale liberties out on that pitch. It was like they just couldn't be bothered, and they gave up as soon as it went 2-0. And yeah, how wounded were you and your father by that night? Asked Ornstein. It's very tough to describe. Never want to put all your eggs into one basket or have all of your feelings reside on one match. But when you reach a European final like we did, it was exactly the feeling you have. So when you finished the way we did and come up short, the frustration, absolute frustration and disappointment. But I was positive that night as well. I remember coming off the pitch, I remember grabbing Unai, telling him we'll be back. And to a few of our players, remember the feeling to use as motivation. Heading into summer training, I'm always that guy that's going to try and find positives out of certain situations. And I got over the initial wave of disappointment. Sorry. I knew that my job as a leader was to try and pull everybody back up. I think we've rebounded well out of that, and we're actually really excited about the new season. And I'll tell you what, so am I. I think everyone is excited about this new season, if I'm being honest with you. Started off very well. Started off extremely well, and we've obviously got Liverpool next. You seem to welcome that leadership role. It's something I am very comfortable with. I think You can't be a leader without having great people around you. We've got a lot of transition at the club. In the last 12 to 14 months especially, there have been more than 50 new appointments just in football operations alone. That's mad. When you actually think about that, 50 new people in 12 months have come into that club. I said to be excited earlier this summer, and I genuinely meant that. Not anything with the short-term signings, excuse me, but be excited about the future of the club, because I think there's some great people in strong places of leadership and are allowing them to do their jobs and do their jobs well. And I can't disagree with that. I think that Raul is definitely the guy to take us forward. I've said that all along. I think he's absolutely superb, probably one of the best, if not the best, in that field in the whole world. And we've shown that we can spend money. We've proved that again. Did Baku sharpen the need for change? I think we were always going to be, and we will always be, aggressive in trying to improve however we can, whether it's on or off the pitch. But as the second half unfolded of the match, understanding the position that we were in and some of the targets we headed into the summer from the transfer standpoint, we had to rethink some of our strategy based on that last 45 minutes. Well, there you go. He's basically saying, if we hadn't cocked up that final and we had got Champions League, we probably would have gone on a madness this summer. Obviously, we didn't, and we ended up Europa League, but we've still done a pretty good madness, I can't lie. We'll get to. We had to rethink a few things, but our main message was to Vinay and Raul coming back from Baku on the plane, which was a very long flight after the match. And throughout the meetings all day, the following day with Vinay and Raul and Unai was, let's head into the summer, let's be aggressive, and let's find out what's possible. These guys went into the marketplace, and through their contacts and through our fantastic new team behind the scenes at Arsenal, we were able to find some talented players who really excited about playing for Arsenal Football Club. And that's the thing. When you've got a serial winner like David Luiz that wants to leave the comfort zone at Chelsea and go to a club that are not in the Champions League, which Chelsea are, probably pay about the same sort of money, I'd imagine. And we're in Europa League. It's like, maybe just got bored there. Maybe Lampard told him we weren't going to feature every week. I don't know. But either way, the fact that he wanted to join us is testament to how well we've been able to turn things around in the last 12, 14 months. This is a good question. This is where Ornstein's face dropped. The perception was that the club had no money. No, David, that was the perception that you had and that you put out there, my friend. Excuse me. But some now say Arsenal won the transfer window. Josh replied, I joked with a few of our colleagues back in the States about this topic, and as much as I want to win conversations in July, I really want to win matches come May and June. So I think it's important to have that type of conversation, but whether we are going to be lauded for our efforts or perceived in a negative light, we want to be doing what we think is right for the club. And I think we had a very strong summer. We addressed certain areas of the pitch for this season and for years ahead. We had certain age profiles and that we were after. Without Champions League football, we weren't exactly sure, but I was encouraged on our football operations department and to be aggressive. And when Arsenal Football Club knocks on a player's door, it's a different knock. This summer, even though they weren't in a position to position of strength coming out of Baku, I think there were a few people caught off guard that Arsenal club still has an aura that it does, and we're excited to keep pushing that now and into the future. And it does have an aura. Listen, Arsenal Football Club is a massive, massive club. Always has been, always will be. And listen, Arsene Wenger's helped in building it up. Yeah, regardless of whether I rated him towards the back end of his career, Arsene Wenger's brand and style of football got a lot of people wanting to be like Arsenal and wanting to play for Arsenal. Obviously, towards the back end of that, nobody wanted to come near us. But, it's still a massive football club. And that's down to a lot of things. It's down to the class and tradition. It's down to the fantasy football we used to play. It's down to the fact that we used to win trophies. And now it's down to the fact that we've got an actual team in the high up spaces that can go out there and liaise with anybody and get any player. There's not a single player within reason, maybe the top 5, 10 players in the world. Anything other than that, I'm fully confident we could sign. And that is a changing culture. Another question, how did you do it on such a restricted budget? Well, come on, seriously, I explained all of this in January, mate. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but I think the main message was simple: to be aggressive. I know I've repeated that a couple of times, but be aggressive meant a lot of things. I meant going into finding out what was possible, because after the match in Baku, we had to rethink a few things. I'm not going to share any details, but going into the summer, we knew we were going to have instruments in place that were going to allow us to be aggressive, and they weren't going to be dependent on sales, which is good to hear as well. Like I said, we've got a lot of money, and when you pay in installments, like every single football club on the planet does, that's how you do it. The difference is we've actually done that this summer, whereas other summers, we've just gone, no one's available. These guys went out, worked their magic, and I'm happy to have them on our side. Were there any investment from KSE or within the self-sustaining model? I'm not going to go into too much detail. People can read between the lines of being aggressive and what that might mean. It's kind of how I would answer the question. It's going to be a private matter for us here at the club, but I hope our fans understand that by being aggressive, that's exactly what we were. Well, I didn't really answer the question, did it? This is a good question, right? And I'll go through it now. Did fan unrest cause you to act in the marketplace? I would say that if you are reacting and doing club record signings based on public opinion, you're not going to go very far as a club. Opening line, well said, well done, could not agree more. Happy days. I'm glad he's come out and said that. A lot of people have taken that the wrong way and gone, oh, he's dissing the fans. He's dissing the fans. No, he ain't running a multi-billion-pound business, yeah, on the back of what somebody on Twitter is saying about him. We weren't reactive this summer. We were actually proactive. It was unfortunate that the summer unfolded publicly the way it did with some of the supporters groups. I tried to answer some of their concerns to the best of our ability, but with the instruments in place and behind the scenes heading into the window, we were where we knew we were going to be aggressive, and we weren't going to be reactive to anything. We were going to be proactive. The transfer market is an evolving, living, breathing thing. And at certain moments in time, sometimes those moments are sooner, sometimes those moments are later in the window. We identified a few key targets. We worked on those deals over time, and we were able to execute them. I hope that our fans are just as excited as I am about the upcoming season, because I think we have got some talented new players in at an age profile where they're going to grow and improve on the pitch over the next 8 to 10 months or so, as well as into the future. It's exciting times being an Arsenal supporter. Could not agree more. And listen, we had them targets in place. I told you before he even done that interview last time round, we had already made a bid for Pepe. So, you know, that was before the hashtag and before the open letter to him and to Stan. We had already made a bid for Pepe. We were already in for Kieran Tierney, already had a bid. So, you know, like I said, if you're going to run a multi-billion-pound business off of the back of what a few people on social media are saying, you aren't going to get very far, because you're going to sit there racking your brains thinking, oh, well, they don't like this and they don't like that. It's like when I do my channel. When I come on here and I say stuff on here, yeah, if I read all your comments out and sat there and took everything on board, I'd be a mess, because some of the comments are great, some of the comments are crap. If I listened to all the crap ones, yeah, I wouldn't have any confidence to come on here and turn this on. Do you know what I'm saying? So you got to run your business how you want to run your business. And let's be real, as much as we don't want to call Arsenal a business, it is a business. There's a little bit more of this to go, only a few more paragraphs and then we're done. It was one thing saying be excited, it's another to deliver, says Ornstein. Josh then goes, we were fortunate to be able to close a few deals. It's never fun to be left at the altar. Per se, when I made that statement about being excited, there were a few things that were starting to come about, exactly, which is what I just said. While we didn't know if they were going to be fully available to execute, you never know until the deal is completely won. And I thought we had a good chance if we acted aggressively in those moments. Fortunately, we were able to execute it, and that's hopefully just a sign of encouragement for Arsenal fans. And when we are out in the marketplace, you might never know what we're thinking. excuse me, and you could be surprised by some of the names that come up. That is the sort of language I want to be hearing right now. That is the talk I want, and I am excited. I'm genuinely excited. But we are going to be aggressive, and we are going to be thinking both short term and long term in everything we are doing. Criticised in the past for not filling needed positions, and now seeing a more decisive Arsenal. I wouldn't say we're now more decisive. I just think it's a different structure. I have been part of meetings that were with Arsene Wenger, and I were part of meetings that now include a head of football, a managing director, our head coach, our new technical director. It's a different approach. It's not doing anything different to what we've done in the past. But when you have different opinions, you share those opinions in a very direct manner. You might disagree over things in a room, but as soon as the door opens and you walk out, you're back to a unified front. I think that allows you to make decisive and aggressive decisions like you saw this summer. More departures before the foreign window shuts. I would prefer our football operations staff, but I would defer to our football operations staff, sorry. But there are a few names that have come up who you might not see playing much time this season. So whether that's via a loan or a permanent transfer, I know there are discussions going on. I'll leave that to our football operations. Well, that is encouraging as well, because I know Mustafi is one of them. So that's all good. Is your father happy with the summer business and direction of the club? He is thrilled, as we have had a chance to get to know some of the new faces more and more behind the scenes. He's had a chance to be around them individually. He's only excited. I know that the term has probably been worn out this summer, especially from myself, but we are all very excited. That hard part is staying patient and understanding that putting plans into place that are going to unfold over the next several years. We've done it with our North American teams. We are trying to implement those types of people and decision makers here at Arsenal. I think the summer is a great example of the quality of people we have, and I can't disagree with that. I can't disagree with that one bit. There are some key players going to the final 2 years of their contract. Is it decision time? That's 100% on the football operations department. But I would say whatever we are doing, we are going to be aggressive and decisive. We are going to communicate honestly through it all. So from the player's perspective, whether it's good or bad news, I think it's the best you can do is be honest with the player, because they have only got a limited window where they can be at their physical peak. I would defer to the football operations staff on the contract decisions, because I think they are pretty good at it. Well, listen, by the sounds of that, it sounds like anyone in the last 2 years either sign a deal or jog yourself on because you're getting sold. And that's what we need. None of this letting Ramsey, £50 million player, walk out for nothing, swapping Alexis for Mickey. Do you know what I'm saying? Last question, I believe. No, there's a little bit more. Jesus Christ. Wow, this goes on forever. Mate, I never knew it. I never knew it was that long. Bear with me. That actually goes on forever. Jesus Christ. Where did I get to? Where did I get to? Ah, here we go. He was asked about Emery and whether he's happy. I think he's doing a great job. He's done a great job and is doing a great job. Turning the page from such a legendary figure as Arsene, not only at Arsenal, but in European football, was always going to be a difficult page to turn. And as the club, I think we have turned it as elegantly as we could. I think Unai's daily approach is fantastic. He's out there on the pitch, he's working, he's watching video, he's communicating, and his daily energy and devotion to his work is fantastic and exactly what we need. I love him. I can't lie. I love Unai Emery with all of me, man. That geezer is a legend. Legend for Arsenal, man. I love his passion. Love how he jumps around. Love how he's always feeling every tackle, telling the players what to do. And that's what we've needed. And that's what a coach should be doing. I will come to comments in a minute, so bear with me. I'll just get through this as quick as we can, and then I'll get to it. What would constitute? I can't even speak properly today. I can't get my words out. What would constitute success this season? Challenging for the Premier League title is always our goal. That's what we talk about constantly, based on the strength of the league, which is the greatest league in the world. If you are competing for the Premier League title, you are competing elsewhere for other silverware as well. Based, we want to go through it all. We'll skim through these last couple of bits. We read the main bits. Is the squad capable of challenging this season? We're going to have our work cut out. There are some very strong teams ahead of us, starting with the defending champions and the Champions League winners. Well, we know that. Do you expect Arsenal to be back in the Champions League? Well, that's obviously something we've talked about. The economics involved, constantly reinvest back into the club, attract better players. Well, I think that's a given. We've already been through that all summer. The relationship between Arsenal fans and ownership at the club at times has been strained. How beneficial is it if they unite to have a united team, have them united behind the team? That's a good question, actually. If it would be one of the most powerful things that I probably would have, probably the most powerful thing that I would have witnessed. Passion can go a couple of different ways. And from a fan's perspective, you're only as good as your last match. But knowing the passion of Arsenal supporter community, it would be an incredible sight to behold. Being here on match days, it gives me chills to even think about it. I think he's over-egging it a little bit there, to be honest with you. The Emirates is a bit of a dead stadium at times. But to know the supporters were united behind the group would be powerful. So these last two. At times it feels like your father has been public enemy number one. Is it an aim of yours to build a relationship between the owner and the fan base? That's important. That they need to understand who we are and what we're trying to accomplish. It's important for them to try and understand the personalities as people. And at the end of the day, we're fans. We want to win. We want to make our job a lot easier when we win. It is important for them to know how passionate we are. When I met with some of the fan groups last season, I didn't ask them for their trust, but I told them that trust is earned, and over time, I would love you to trust me now, but unfortunately that trust has to play out over the next several years. We are just getting started, and hopefully we'll start to earn more and more trust between. That is a fantastic answer as well, by the way. Good question and great answer. And it does take time to build trust up. And let's be honest here, I personally think he's in charge of Arsenal. I don't think Stan runs it at all. I think since the day that he came over and potted everyone, I think that basically he's gone, nah, this is mine now. And his dad's gone, yeah, cool, you can have it, mate. You can have that. You deal with that. I'll deal with the American ones. And yeah, I think it's going well. Listen, we're slowly seeing a different Arsenal, an Arsenal that I've wanted to see for about 7 years. Is KSE here here to stay? Are you looking to drive Arsenal forward? Absolutely, absolutely. I'm thrilled to be involved in the club, thrilled to be involved with these great people. On the weekends here, just the environment is something you can't duplicate anywhere else. I don't think. When I tell my friends that that are from the States, if they are traveling through Europe, I automatically try and get them to the Emirates because they need to experience it. It's a really wonderful place, and I think that for footballers around the world, as we move forward as a club, I think that Emirates is a place that's going to be special to me. It's going to be special to my family, and I'm excited about being here. Hopefully, it's a long term. Hopefully, for what's a long term. Do you intend continuing investing in January and beyond? And what is your vision? That's a great question. We have the highest ambitions in North America. We are trying to win. The Rams were in the Super Bowl last year. I can only imagine what Champions League final is like after being over in Baku. Our ambitions are the same as the fans. We want to win, and we want to win as much and often as possible. We're doing it in a fun way where they are seeing some really entertaining football as well. I think that we've got the group to do it. As for January, I don't want to get ahead of ourselves. We have to evaluate some things in the short term and figure out where we might need to address some areas going forward. So when January does roll around, we can be proactive again. Well, that fills me with loads of confidence as well that we're going to spend again in January. Right, a couple more paragraphs and we're done. Any regrets as owners? Anything you would have done differently? I don't have any regrets. If you have any regrets, it's just simply over match results. You always wish you could go back and change certain things. Probably the lowest point since I've been involved in the club was over in Baku, because you work so hard for that moment and come short in the very last minutes. It leaves a feeling, for me, feeling and motivation. Basically, he's saying that's the worst feeling he's ever had. Listen, that was bad. That day was bad. Yeah, and I wouldn't say it was. Listen, always losing a final. I've seen us lose loads of finals over the years, but think we're going in the right direction, and that's the main thing. And do you know what? In a way, I suppose that was a blessing in disguise, because they reevaluated where we are as a club and thought, you know what, we can't be having this now. We've got to go and act properly. It just talks about what he's not doing not when he's not at a match. What's your final message for supporters? I would say be excited, but I've already worn that one out over the summer. But I would say to our supporters, it's going to be a fun year. We've got some talented new players for them to cheer on the pitch, and we're only going to keep working hard on their behalf. Well, that's what we want to see. That is what we want to hear. And yeah, absolutely buzzing, absolutely over the moon. I can't lie. Yeah, some of the stuff he's been saying is exactly what I've wanted this club to be saying for a long, long time. And I'm so glad that they're finally coming out and saying it. And the fact that he's come out and done 2 different interviews in the last 6 weeks or 7 weeks, wherever it may be. Yeah, for me, I think that's fantastic, because listen, Stan Kroenke never even wanted to speak at an a.f.c. So the fact that his son's coming out there and speaking twice in 6-7 weeks, unbelievable. And that makes the fans feel, do you know what, they are actually trying, and you can see they're trying. You can actually see that, and I'm so happy with how it's gone. I'm so happy that we got rid of the last manager. I'm so happy Gazidis jogged himself on. I'm so happy that we've signed Pepe. I'm happy with Raul. I'm happy with Vinay. I can't lie. The only time I'll be unhappy with Vinay is when we come around to do negotiations for new deals like Adidas, like when we negotiate for that again, or when we go to do an Emirates deal or something like that. And if he cocks any of them up, you can have a go at him. Until then, what's he done wrong? Nothing. So yeah, it's all going well. And there's a real good buzz around the club at the moment. David Luiz saying he wants to play for us. He wanted to join us rather than sit and claim wages on the bench at Chelsea. You've got Lacazette saying that he wants to be better and score more goals. You've got Aubameyang saying, no, let's aim higher. Let's try and go for a title. All good news coming out of Arsenal right now. And that can only help going forward. That can only be a good thing for us as fans as well, because the fans are going to be buzzing, which gets the players' confidence up. And all in all, it's great. And then when you hear the actual owner, and I believe he is the owner. I don't like I said, I know that Stan Kroenke is the owner, but I think that he's the owner. He's basically now the man. So for me, I think it all bodes well going forward. Let me read through some of these comments. I'll skip back to a few. Oh dear. I miss you on AFTV. Well, sorry about that, mate. But you don't miss me here. Just stick the notification bell on. You'll never miss me, mate. I swear. Liverpool is going to be easier to defend against than Burnley. I'm not too sure about that, mate. I'm not too sure, to be honest with you. When you've got centre-backs like Luiz and Socrates that are big physical specimens, it's easy to defend against big physical specimens. When you've got a tricky, pacey guy running at you and you're a big lump, it's not that easy. Liverpool can twist us all ends up, mate. So it's not going to be easy, I don't think. 3-2 Arsenal, says Ryan. 3-2 Arsenal. Are you having beef? No, I don't have beef with anyone, mate. I don't have beef. I don't do the whole internet beef or beef. I don't really do any arguments with anybody, mate. Where do you think we will place this season, says Oscar? I think we'll probably finish 4th. I'm hoping we can finish higher, but I think we'll get 4th. I also want to say thanks very much as well to nearly 700 of you watching this live right now. Do stick a like on the video. There's only 111 likes on this video, so please go and do that ASAP, and that would help out. And I'm going to do a couple more minutes, maybe a minute, and then get myself out of it. I won't be back at 9 o'clock either. I've got stuff to do tonight. So yes, I'll be back tomorrow. It's about midday, 1 o'clock-ish, I'd imagine. Adrian will pull a Carriers and we will win 5-1. Mate, that'd be hilarious. Can you imagine if he actually did that? 2-2 on Saturday, says Gabe. When are you going to do your lineup to play Liverpool? The game's Saturday evening, isn't it? Saturday evening, so it'd be Friday evening. It's always the day before, mate. It'd be 9 o'clock the day before, 9 o'clock at night. Why don't you get notifications? I don't know. Do you know what? A lot of people don't get notifications. I don't know why. YouTube just plays about every now and again. So it is what it is. But yeah, listen, I'll be back tomorrow. I'm going to get myself off out of here. Thank you to everyone who's watched. Please do stick a like on it before you go. The FIFA channel's in the description. See how many subscribers we're on. 28,268 on this channel. And let's go and have a look on the other one. Let's try and get that up to 30,000 if we can. I want that up to 30k pretty sharpish. And the FIFA channel is currently on 1,050. So big up yourselves for that as well. Listen, Josh Kroenke's buzzed my day up, man. I can't lie. I'm really, really happy right now. Happy with how the club's progressing. Happy with him. And you know, I want to end it on this as well, right? Having read all of that, and I did listen to the video. Obviously, it didn't work for you guys on here, but I actually quite like him. And I believe what he's saying. And that's something that I haven't had with anybody at this football club in a position of power for a very, very long time. So he's definitely got me on board, that's for sure. But anyway, I'm going to get myself out of it because I'm waffling now. And this has been going for 31 minutes. So thanks very much. I will leave you all in peace. Laters, peeps.